is Grace Tsai. You might have seen her around the hub. She's not normally a model, but I think in some context she does she does look like one. Grace Tsai is the founder and CEO here at the hub, and I hope that just by being in this space, you feel the courage, the contagious courage that we try to create here. She is a social entrepreneur and pioneer, creating more opportunities for social entrepreneurs, guiding people along the way, and she also has input with the Singapore Prime Minister's office and the Malaysian government. And she also loves skiing and diving, so if nothing else, those are two things you can talk about with her afterwards. Please welcome Grace Tsai.
Okay, hi, good evening everyone. This is really strange because for those of you who have attended my talks and stuff and my team, you know that public speaking is second nature for me. But speaking about your mistakes and your failures and your fuck-ups on home ground is another story, right? So I'm extra close today because if not, I'll feel terribly naked. I have done a similar talk like that 2 years ago in Vancouver, in Vancouver's first failure week, where you talk about your failures. And I took 1 day to write that speech, and my boyfriend at that time was like, "What's wrong with you? You usually whip up the deck in an hour, right?" And it was very difficult to try to verbalize your failures, so events like that is really necessary, especially in Singapore, because by verbalizing it, you are removing yourself from it and really begin to make sense of it, and sharing it as well is like a closed loop. So today for this talk I took 1 hour, not 1 day. So even that you learn, it can be learned, right? Just as grit and perseverance can be learned, talking about your mistakes can be learned. So tonight I'm going to talk about 4 fuck-ups, and as my team will know, I don't like anything in lists of 4s or 6. Everything is in 3 or 5 or 7. But since it's a fuck-up night, we can do 4. Put this clown here because usually an entrepreneur, the heroism built around a successful founder is quite sexy, right? It's the happy circus Bobo the clown kind of thing. But the other side, the other face of the clown is the it clown. Have you watched that movie? So the it clown is a haunted clown that comes and creeps out of your bathroom holes and scares you at night when you're showering. So there's always 2 sides to entrepreneurship, and depending on how you want to take it, it can be Bobo or it, right? Okay, so first one. So I'm going to share with you a little bit of the inside story of the hub and I that many people don't know. So the hub to me is the train, and I am the track, or I'm trying to lay the track as the train is coming. And sometimes you can never expect or assume the speed of the train that is coming, and you never know what materials to use to build the track, and you're caught in the middle of it. There's no way to stop the train. There's no way to stop a train wreck. So I'm sure other founders, feel the same way, laying the track as the train comes. And sometimes as well, you feel like you're just standing in the middle of the track as the train is approaching. So the first fuck up. Be careful who you go to bed with, right? When I was 10 years old, my mom always tells me, "Grace, I will never ever want you to marry your first boyfriend. I want you to have 10 boyfriends and then understand yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses. Then only choose the husband, right? And also try your best to not have one-night stands." What did I do when I started the hub? Forget about all this advice, right? And to Adrian's point, when you're a first-time entrepreneur or when you're a young entrepreneur, you always feel like no one is going to support your thing, right? And with the hub, it was very different. 4 years ago, when I was founding it, everyone wanted this to happen. Everyone was so supportive. There was not a single person who said you shouldn't do this, right? So a lot of support, a lot of hoo-hoo-ha-ha, and then it became the talk of town all of a sudden. In the process, in the backstory, there's so many pieces that need to come together because it's a very complicated business, although it looks simple. There's the real estate, there's the community, there's the investors and the co-founders and working with the government and things like that. So in the search of finding partners and co-founders to do this with, before ending up with my current co-founder, there were a lot of rounds and iterations of the wrong people you go to bed with, right? And so one of it is was a lawyer. Yeah. And I don't know, for some reason, just because I thought that he knew a lot that I don't, a lot of legal counsel advice kind of thing, I just gave him 50% of the hub. Now you go like that, right? But I have no idea why I did it. I did it because I wanted to have proper governance, and I didn't want the hub to just be about me. But clearly, once it's on paper, it's fucked up. Because what happened was I had to spend 1.5 years trying to bring it down to 5%. As I had found the right people, right, to be co-founders with, and also to reward employees with stock options. So this journey involved many more lawyers than I would want, a lot more time, a lot more emotional fatigue, and just lots of distraction away from running the real business. And so, first advice really, do not have one-night stands. Do not go to bed with someone before dating, right? Cannot, you like beer, I like beer, let's start a business together, right? In fact, the only time I found out with that guy that it was never meant to be was that I made him draw. So I brought A3 paper and crayons and make him draw the vision he had for the hub in 5 years. And guess what? Drawings can't lie, right? You can try to ask that person in all scenarios, even with alcohol and all that, and it never comes up because he's not trying to hide anything, right? But with the crayon and a piece of paper, our visions were so different. And at the end of the day, who's gonna drive this, right? Who's gonna eat, breathe, sleep, dream of this? So, and also, he could be a nicer person, right? So that's when I know as well. So really take your time for first-time founders. Do not say yes even when you feel like it. Get advice, let time pass, sleep over it, and then slowly choose who you go to bed with. Okay, sorry, go back. So second fuck up. When you start your company, you need seed funding, right? And in my case, I calculated normally you need 3 people to start a hub in 1.5 years. Because, as I said, it involves a lot of community building before that. I wanted to do it in 7 months. And so I worked for 6 months to save up money to not work for 7 months. So I can concentrate on this full time, right? Not to sacrifice. By the time it was 6 months, there was no building, no investor, lots of community, lots of buzz, but none of the important things. So I knew I needed more time, and I was running out of personal cash, right? So it's either I give up then or I press on. And I was like, what can bring me cash right now? What can I sell to bring cash? I look at my shoes, I look at my clothes, not that branded, right? Cannot go on Craigslist. So I thought, my mom can bake amazing fruitcakes. And I went back to her, I bought her lots of ingredients, raisins, nuts, and I said, Mom, I need you to make me 50 fruitcakes. Her fruitcakes are so amazing that there's 1 year pre-order, okay? Before Christmas. So it's very, very good. And I knew I could sell fruitcakes with no qualms, right? Because why? I would force my 50 best friends to buy, right? At a premium. So I sold each fruitcake at $100. And with that, happy you're not my best friend at that time. But it's very good, right? And some people save it to Christmas. So, with that money, I could last for another 2 months. And by then, I've raised the seed round, I've gotten this building, and gotten the first 40 customers as well. So second moral of the story, always raise double the amount of money that you think you need when it's your first time. Because you never know, when it's an unproven model, you never know how long it will take, right? Third one, for people like us, right, Alicia, myself, and many more entrepreneurs here, we don't see what we do as a job, not even a career, right? It's a very personal thing for a lot of entrepreneurs. You really build an extension of yourself. So there's no lying there. And everything is on you, right? Whether it makes or you make or break it. So for many of us, it's almost a calling. It's almost a life mission where you have no choice but to do this. It's that kind of conviction. And because of that as well, you give a lot, and you don't stop, and you don't admit defeat, you don't admit weakness or fatigue, right? And what happened was, after 1 year of the hub being open, we had a team retreat in Ubud, and it was then that my team kind of told me that I was burnt out, like completely burnt out, like completely tired. For 2 years, my calendar was not owned by me anymore. It was just meetings after meetings, and it's, you just keep burning for other people and you don't replenish. And also one thing I learned is that you can also ask for help from the community, right? For those of us who build communities and from the team. And for first-time people, maybe you don't ask for help as often as you should. And since then I try to do that more. So burnout, fatigue, being vulnerable as a strong entrepreneur is really a fine balance that we need to practice and get right. Okay, the last fuck up, is actually a piece of news that we haven't shared publicly. For those of you who know, we have been trying to find the next home for our hubbers and for the hub. And we've been looking for over 40 spaces for 1 year. Why? Because we have to keep it affordable, central, beautiful, everything, right? Hubbers are very, very demanding. And still, they just want to pay $200 a month, right? So we had to really get the real estate piece right. And we cannot fuck that piece up, for sure. That's why we took so much time. And finally, an email from one of our 10,000 agents landed in our inbox that said, oh, there's this amazing 10,000 square feet space on Prinsep Street. At $5 per square foot, it's near 4 MRTs, and I'm like, wow, this feels right, because I want it to be on 1 floor. Right now it's on 2 floors, and sometimes that kills the thing a little bit, although it doesn't here. So, I'm like, okay, this is really promising, and we need to go. And when things are meant to be, things move fast, right? And we were signing the tenancy agreement by January. We were working with the best interior designers in the country who did the Tipping Club. Next. So all these mock-ups, designs were all done. We already spent a lot as well. Until at one point when we did the financial model, we found out that the space was not 10,000 square feet. And for those of you who know this business, every square foot matters, right? And with that 10,000, we could do so much. We wanted to build a yoga room for Angela to do her yoga clubs. We wanted to buy a rowing machine. We wanted to have a big event space for 200 people and a cafe and workshop rooms and boardrooms and all that kind of thing, and like 10,000 team rooms for teams that have grown up from here. And suddenly we found out that it was only 8,000 square feet. So it's a 20% hit, right? At a negotiated price for 10,000. And I just, next slide, couldn't believe it. Like, what the fuck? What mistake did we make here? The mistake was as simple as we did not fucking measure the space. Right? In all the hype of preparing all the 1 million other pieces to move and to grow, we raised a Series A round, we this and that. We forgot to measure the space, and the landlord was actually renting the extra 2,000 as the void. As the air, because there's one center part that is 9 meters from slab to slab, and it was just air that we were renting. And like, you fucking build me a mezzanine or don't charge me at 10,000, right? And then, he did not bend. And so for 2 months, lawyers were involved. I wanted to put an injunction on him and things like that. But finally, yeah, next slide. Everything is fine now. He bent ultimately at just charging for 8,000, so we can still keep it affordable for hubbers. We are spending $1 million on the renovation of the space, so it's going to be really awesome. We've collected the keys and the knockdown is done, so we're in safe hands right now. But problems never stop happening. And I'll end there with the last thing. So. Yeah, I don't know, so that's why we need a community like that, I think, and also mentors to kind of help us out of problems when we face one. So I'll end there. Thank you.
Three questions, you know the drill.
We can also go straight to drinks.
Hi, Grace. So, as your co-founder, I'm very, very, very proud of what you've done.
So it's not her, right? That 50% thing.
I'm not male and I'm not a lawyer. I see a very different Grace standing here 3 years later. Looking back, what's the biggest change that you think? Through all the fuck-ups and through all the difficulties, what's the biggest change that's happened in you, within yourself, in terms of...
Why are you greeting me in front of everyone? Sure, great question. I think the biggest change is really I've toughened up so much. Like no problem can really shock me anymore. And you know, when I was younger, I did this when I was 26, right, 27, when I founded the hub, and it was like every challenge that came was like panic mode, right? Shit, I don't know, this is new. I don't know how to think about it. But right now, you know, whatever that comes, I'm like, okay, this is the problem. There's always a way out. There's always a way out. And it's so important to also surround ourselves with smart people who have done things, because you are really an average of the 5 people around you, right? Or you're an average of the 50 people around you. And by you know, designing who these people are, you up yourself as well. So just being more cautious about who you know, I surround myself with. Drinks? Yeah.
After you've been to bed with 10, would you think it is fair to say that there should be also the possibility to go back to number 6? Or is it always the last one which is the best one?
No.
You know it's a metaphor.
Yes, it's definitely a metaphor. No, the point there was that you need to see enough before you choose, right? Don't jump just because at that moment you feel like it's a small one. It's the right one. When your universe is actually very small still, right? It's just a mathematical thing. What's the probability of getting something right when your sample size is very small?
9 are training.
Sorry?
9 are training to find the 10 with the right aspects, the right issues, topics, and everything. So if you choose, you are educated enough yourself that you know that is right now.
Yeah, experience counts so much, right? So now if I do my next venture, I know already what to look out for. You know, what kind of characteristic and personality would match with me, what are my weaknesses that I would want my co-founder to feel. Also, you know, so even in hiring, we see, you know, you kind of observe that you're improving along the way. As well. If you keep an intentionality to keep learning each time of these softer things, then yeah, you do improve, I think. But we never get it right 100%. Yep.
Last one. How did it actually get to a point where you had to sit down with someone and draw with crayons?
Gut feeling. There's always some nagging feeling like this is not 100% right. You just need to pull a plug. Just have to think of a safe way for the truth to emerge, right? And not attacking, for example. You know, tell me what is your vision really, or you know. So you know, that's where also, you know, it was an idea that came from a seasoned entrepreneur. So that's where you can borrow ideas on how people find out and things like. But gut feeling, hiring, firing, choosing people is always gut feeling.
Last one, right?
Oh, okay, all right, last one.
Yeah, so I want to ask a question about money.
Yeah.
So it seems like your our Hub Singapore, or like general advice just now is like when you get started with a startup, you raise money, seed money, right? So, but for me personally, my biggest fuck up was actually when I got actual VC funding last year, and it was my biggest fuck up. I fucked up so many people's life because in the end it failed. So what do you think about, you know, starting a startup and like the issue of raising enough money and where to draw the line? Like,
okay, that itself is a whole day of fundraising kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in general, I think in early stages, you try to get it from the 3S, right? Family, friends, and fools, right? Try to get from people who wouldn't kill you if you fuck it up. You need to have this kind of people in your lives, if not you're pretty sad, right? Okay, so that's one. Always use the FFF first, and then use your own personal savings. So you feel the pain and you feel the urgency, right? The second best funding source is is customers prepayment, right? I would leave VC money to the very end, to be honest, like step 8, like choice number 8, right? We're only at second choice right now. So if you can find a way to get your customers to prepay for your product or your service, that's also a very good way. And then try to think of loans and convertibles and all this. It's always better than give a piece of yourself away in equity, right? And VCs, you don't need to feel so bad for them because they are so used to taking ultra risk. Because VCs are made to invest in startups.
I feel bad for my past employees.
Well, that's what startups are, right? You go through, it's the journey and not the result. And just invite them for a drink. And yeah, we'll talk. Next speaker. Okay, thanks guys.
Thank you.